Ready as we're gonna be. What's up, man? What's going on, Al?
You ready for Snowmageddon?
I don't know. It's snow. It's just a pretty snowy version of Michigan. So
Snowy version of daily life up here in the water wonderland?
yeah. It's a normal thing, right? We've been kind of lucky that we haven't had horrible oh boy, do we have a topic. Hey, Shayna, how are you?
Oh, we got a topic?
Yeah, we've got a topic. Reverend Blazer will be entering the podcast tonight. Reverend,
No way.
yeah.
Oh, baby.
So he'll be entering. Oh boy, I kind of forgot. Number one, it's going to be two-sided, right? There's going to be a part of some of the things that we had talked about over the last day with the gentleman who came in and had some questions and queries about the whatever, right?
Right.
He's an ex-libertarian, right?
Interesting.
You're not going to know it by looking at him. He's a really smart dude. Like stupid smart, like
Okay.
incredible
We're
smart.
talking about the guy that I was talking to, right?
When?
The other day.
When?
When it came in on Tuesday? At like 6
Oh,
o'clock?
in here? No.
No?
But we'll be talking about some of the things that we talked about
Okay.
that with ideas and concepts and whatever
Okay.
and, here and there. So he also had some things to ask you about coding and whatever, right?
Yep.
Because he's got a different thing and whatever. So it's going to be dual-sided. You're probably going to hate him or you're going to go a little bit of both. Like, yeah, actually kind of like, wow, really smart. And he's kind of an antagonist. The thing is, the amount of things that he knows and has on immediate retention,
Yep.
like to regurgitate, are baffling. What's going on? Hey, Shayna. Are you over there talking to her or something? All I see is hi guys, great. And I was like, what? I was like, Al, are you secretly talking again?
I ain't
You got
talking
some
to nobody.
secret decoder ring over
I
there?
ain't talking to nobody.
What's going on, Rachel, Justina, all the ladies? I don't know, all the single ladies? I hate to go
All
to
the single ladies. All the single ladies.
Why is it what's going on, y'all? It's very funny that when some of that stuff pops out, it's very I hear music in my head and go,
Right.
this is funny, right? This will be good. I'm going to share. So we're going to do a couple seconds of sharing. Sharing is caring.
And it is.
Woot woot.
I hate when I click things and something pops up while I'm trying to double click something else and then I'm in a totally different screen
Yeah.
that I didn't want to be in.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen every now and again,
Hey,
buddy.
man.
It's going to happen every now and again. So, yeah, we've got a good thing, dude. We've got a Reverend Blazer, dude. But this is, I don't know, ladies. He's also kind of psychotic, but he's super smart. We did go over some of the things about, obviously with, race relations and, in America and
Right.
this and some of the, things and, systemic issues here and there. And, it's kind of crazy. And then some of the things that old buddy said, some of the things that you said,
Yep.
some of the things here and there and whatever. So it's going to be interesting. And then he's also going to want to pick your brain about some technical jargon and algorithms and stuff like that also.
Algorithms.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't do algorithms.
Come on, man.
I just write code.
Come on, you know a little bit about some algorithms, man. Ooh, so I guess I got to go there. That would help, huh?
All right.
But yeah, it should be cool. And later this evening, ladies, on the show, there will be we got some questions from some friends that how do I say it? They're going down the slippery slope of their first threesome. It's going to be their very first threesome, and they don't know exactly how to. So what's funny is I've been giving them advice on and off over the last couple hours or whatever. We got love questions. We can go with love questions. I don't believe it exists. I
Absolutely.
believe that it's a chemical reaction in your brain that you can replicate by eating a bunch of chocolate also. But yes, let's talk about love. Actually, I'm saying that just because I'm a lot like Hitch and I've been damaged and harmed by the old love bug. But other than that, yeah, for sure. So, man, you want to talk about what's going to be random is dealing with first timers trying to have, and I'm gonna give you some of the things that they've that their questions, things that they asked, things that they were probably just a little bit off on in their idea of, so it'll be interesting. Myself personally, when it comes to threesome land, Al, I don't know, have you had the threesomes?
I have.
You have.
Yes, I have.
How many? Have you had a bunch, or was it just like a weird?
It was so it wasn't a threesome, it was a foursome. It was a drunken.
Just screw a threesome, right? Just go right for the foursome.
I went right onto it. It was a drunken high school. I liked this girl, but she was also kind of not into dudes, and I just finagled my way over to a foursome through it.
Did you? Is that somebody there or no? Oh, haha.
He's like, I got a
There's the
key.
magic key.
I got a key. I
That's
don't need
right.
you to come get me.
So, okay, so you did that, and that was one. How did it work out? Did you encounter anything that could be good for the youngsters?
So, I think I got lucky, right? Because you had three.
Well, if you had a foursome and you're not golfing, I think you did get lucky. I'm gonna go ahead and say
But,
that's probably the deal. What up, guy?
But no, I mean, I got lucky in the fact that it was, three girls who all knew how to take care of each other because they all knew what each other needed, and my job was just kind of to be in heaven. So if it's a threesome and now you got one odd person out, and I don't know how to handle that. I feel like I just make sure that everybody's doing something at all times, and
Yeah, I ironically I did have an awkward foursome. I think I tried to get it out of my brain, but yeah, it was weird. It did happen. It was kind of
Was someone involved in a relationship?
not with me.
not the participants, no. But go ahead and grab a mic. This is Reverend Blaze. He's a little bit off camera, so that's probably good.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
It's probably for the
But,
best. Go ahead and keep it. Go ahead and keep it directly to the side, and try and get all beardy with it.
All right. So, how are we doing on sound check? Yeah.
No, we're already
Oh,
started.
we're
No,
already
I'm
live,
saying on
man.
my
We're
mic,
already
like,
going.
my-
I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it
So,
up.
Because one of the things that if there is ever involved with multiple people in a sex thing, it changes up everything if some of them are in a relationship. Because when that's the case, whenever it's into a relationship, then you, like, if someone spends too much attention, like say the person that's not in the relationship, if someone in the relationship is favoring one person too much, holy shit, you have a nightmare of problems that come following. Of like, yeah, I saw the way you were looking at her. Like, yeah, we're supposed to have a threesome. I mean, that was, yeah, you liked her a bit more than me. Why don't you just go and bang her from now on? I'm out. I've seen that happen quite a bit.
Yeah, that is and that is part of the thing. If you're in a relationship and it's kind of relationshipy, ironically, all the ones I've had have never been in a relationship. So it seems like every female that I've been around or tried to to get that situation happening was never happening. And now I'm kind of past it, right? Like, dude, there's one person, there's one set of boobs, right? You got an equal set of boobs. There's a vagine and a another orifice. That's all I really need. But my first one was in high school, and it was me and one of my creepy buddies, and the girl had broken up with somebody, and we went, oh yeah, that sucks, right? And everything will be okay. And he's a jerk, and the classic spin around with that,
Right. Yep.
And as that kind of happened, somehow, man, you've got great boobs and whatever, and then the boob show and whatever. So it's always been me and either a buddy or chick friends or whatever. So the weird thing when you don't know what's going on with it, and I don't know if you overheard any of the early conversation of me today when I was on the phone,
Yeah.
but that's one of the participants and said, Shenanigan Fest.
I assumed, yeah. I assumed they were related.
So with this, I'm like, okay, cool, right? So this is happening. And the main thing was the dude who they're involving in this is like, man, I don't know. Like, man, that's a lot of pressure. And, if I do this and that, and do we really do it or not? Or, right? So then they start bagging on him, right? They're like, oh, my God, I can't believe he's going to puss out on this. And I even said, I was like, yeah, no, you do it, right? You
Right.
do it. Even if you don't want to do it, you do it, right?
You do
Story's sake. Number one, it's story's sake. Number two, how long have you been on this planet? 22 years? Do you want to wait another 22 years just going on the fact that maybe this is something that happens just, every, the time lapse, and you're going to have to wait until you're 44 or 42 or something until this happens again? You
Life
do it.
throws you curveballs. You duck your head and you move forward. Damn
That's
it.
right.
You go and join that foursome.
When you see a fork in the road, you take it.
I mean, you can never have too much silverware.
That's
you know?
true.
That's right.
You pick up that fork.
You pick up that fork.
Clean that thing off.
So and then the two are like, oh, well, I'm going to get really, really stoned. And I'm going to get stoned and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I went, yeah. And because one of the girls was like, I couldn't do this if I was sober. Like, I'd be way up in my head and I'd be freaking out. I'd probably have an anxiety attack. And I went, but yet you're making fun of the dude for not wanting to be involved in this because he's sober. He doesn't do anything, right? And then I thought to myself, I was like, dude, have a
Holy-
few drinks.
You know, speaking of threesomes, are you looking at the comments right now?
I don't know what's happening.
It
It's
loo-
moving
it-
too fast.
It looks like Shayna, Drew, and Justina are about to just finagle their way into a threesome there. Good, good for you, Drew.
Drew just said, I don't like sharing.
Well, he gonna learn today.
And Shayna, being the voice of reason, could be fun.
Yeah, he gonna learn today.
Because could be good.
This could be
This
good.
could be good. Sounds like Zohan or Nick Swanson's mom in when banging the Zohan. So these idiots, right? They're going back and forth with the whole no, Drew is mine. Yep. So yep, they're having a battle, and this is why people who know each other, you almost have to jump in a weird threesome if you want to, like right off the bat. I do like the weird, awkward nature of none of the people actually like one another, but they all know one another, and they're just doing it by proxy. Like, oh, I mess with him, you mess with him. We should all mess together or whatever. Let's just do this so we can compare notes. And they're building some witches covenant of sex.
The first month that I worked at Hooligans, like there were it was really weird because I was bouncer door guy, but I had 4 different threesome opportunities. The first one didn't go too well. There was some crying, not me. I'm not a big fan of it, at least. And so like the next 2, I was like, you know what? No, she was crying, and then it was like stopped abruptly. Of like, I can't do this. I was like, well, this is really fucking awkward. I'm gonna take all my alcohol and go home, and and that was that. So like the next, but like that first month at Hooligans, man, there was a lot of weird, like, I don't know. If
Well, and I doubt it was you saying, hey, let's go home and have a threesome, right? Wasn't it like ulterior forces? Like,
yeah, there were couples that would come in there, and occasionally like there would be like a weird interaction, like they would like be like whispering or something, like waiting in line for talking to him or whatever. And at the end of the night, like, hey, really drunk, but we're kind of into threesomes, and my wife would like you to, I was like, all right. I was like, all right, well, that's how long I got to decide. I got to clean up this thing till 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's almost 2 hours of sitting there contemplating it, and I just got shit housed and was like, yeah, you know what, that's weird. I'm gonna go over to the stranger's house. I hope they don't cut me open and like dissect me and take my organs. But then again, joke's on you, they're fucking ruined.
yeah,
there
right.
You go. You want my liver? It's all right.
Yes.
Take it.
Take
It
this.
ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, this thing is beat up. Like, good job. Hopefully, they were nice about it. Like, here's a gift card. Go get that wound looked at. And yeah, when it's external forces, because I never go searching for one. Like, unlike Shayna, Justina, Drew. Well, no, Drew's like, I don't know. When you look at that, when you guys like, oh, these girls seem to be about it, and that's why we love late night tea, right? This is our sponsorship moment. Like, hey, this is why we love late night tea. The ladies
Right.
seem to be going out of their way to have random threesomes. Ironically, the dudes all have shy bladders or something that's worked through the bladder. That's right. But yeah, it's kind of funny. So these yahoos today. So I give them the grandfather philosophy, right? I give them my granddad's philosophy, and I went, guess what? My granddad sat and told me, when you're 81, you're not going to be sitting on your deathbed and going, I'm chilling and whatever, and I wish I didn't have as much sex as I did in 2018, right? He was like, dude, the only thing that's getting me by these last few months is just rolling over in my head whatever I can remember about all the cool stuff I did and all the cool, interesting stuff. And he was like, you're working hard. You're doing this before I went to San Antonio. He was like, live a little. Use your penis, right? Do something more than pee out of that damn thing. You're in Ireland. Do this and that. And I was like, all right, Pappy, no problem. But I've taken that and I've passed it on. And, the gentleman I was talking to, I was like, bro, what is wrong with you? Yes, do some shenanigans, right? Like, you're going to, just for story's sake. And it's going to be awkward. And I gave him the dog philosophy also, which is they're just as scared of you as you are of them. And I know this because they showed hand, right? They showed hand and went, well, I couldn't do that sober. Like, I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Because generally somebody is going to be the leader of the pack. Okay, so ladies, prepare yourself. You might want to grab a tissue or, lady depends.
Happy tissues or sad tissues?
Happy. Well, it depends. I don't know how well I'm going to narrate this, particularly, but somebody's got to be the director, right? In a threesome. Yeah. Now, if the dynamic is, okay, this is a weird, and ladies, you may like this, but not me. So if Al and I are in a relationship and we're gonna crank the blaze, right? So,
Right.
so
This
if
got weird real
if the
quick.
three of us are in this, so you and I, if it's a threesome, guy girl couple, right? I'll get off the Al thing because that'll make it weird after I'm
that
looking
makes
at
it
you
weird.
weirdly.
I gotta do a
so-
whole show with you.
That's right, right? And so if I'm there with my chick, right, and we're bringing a third person in, the two are obviously going to kiss and be more affectionate to one another, and they're going to mess around and do stuff. Well, as what's up, buddy? And as they're doing whatever, then like if it was me and the chick and we're sitting there kissing, and then it would be, kiss her. Right? You're directing. You're the director, right? So, you kiss her, and now they're kissing, and then, let's lay down. And if you two are kissing, you get behind your girl and you give her the old, hey, we're just cuddling. Oh, nope, not exactly, right? So you're getting a little back, shuffle from behind. Then you can direct, and if those two are messing around, and there's a leapfrog scenario in threesomes also. If one girl is going down on the other girl, you take the last position, and you go down
that's-
back behind on the girl, right? Until the position swap happens. Somebody's got to be in a directorial until things just all go crazy and everyone just light the couch on fire and start smacking each other with pillows. Okay, so I've had a couple that went really, really wrong. So the weird thing is, none of them have a director. So I'm trying to coach whoever is the possible captain of this weird sexual swim team, right? Like, you guys put it together somehow. Somebody's got to be the director, right?
Or just fucking, I mean, I guess so. Or maybe just give them a caption for, all right, fuck it. Everyone go in and just do what you feel like. Just never talk about it afterwards. Everyone balls to the wall. Just like, all right, guys, it's going to get weird. All right. And,
I think you got to have a Keebler sex tree for that.
It could, but what if one dude's thing, like the dude just like, this is cool, walks up and takes a crap on the chick's chest, right? Nobody wants that. So that throws your theory.
Well,
That's
I mean,
why
look,
there has to be an
if
asterisk.
you get a sneaky shit on the chest, then I'm really surprised. Like, there's a couple steps that lead up to that. Like, I'm just going to bend
There
over
are.
and do a rocket poo across the room. Just, ha-cha!
Why
Gotcha.
are you squatting over my chest? What?
Yeah,
What are
there's,
you, what are you
there's a
doing?
couple,
Oh no!
there's a couple checkpoints, I think, on the way to, chest shit.
Yeah, and there should be, but sometimes you're getting distracted. There's another person in the room. That's how I got sucker punched
you
last
deserve it
week.
at that point. I think, if,
A
you, if,
sneaky
you, if
poo?
you get a sneaky poo on the chest, then you fucking deserve it because
Yeah.
you're an idiot and you didn't deserve that threesome.
And that's
anyway.
very well possible. So I don't know. I'm looking through all the things. It could either go horribly wrong. It could either go horribly well. But I still think if you're the dude who's being brought in with the two chicks and the two chicks are friends and they're doing chick friend stuff or whatever, then cool. Sit on the sideline and just go cool and just take up
Right.
like social cues that when they're doing this,
Dude, more than likely, all three of those chicks want to bang each other anyway. Just start putting your penis in one of them. And like I said, and just like they're
Wow.
all cool with everyone doing it, so just let it do that. So just look, the chicks didn't agree to this to be like, oh man, totally all about the guy. No, they want to have oh god, that one time was a threesome, but I spent X amount of time. There's enough people to just start, put that thing in a hole and and let them start playing around.
a lot
because
like
that's what they
golf.
want to do. Like,
We-
they want the
well,
excuse to play with each other and not
there
call
is-
it a lesbian thing. That's what it is. The three, there's like, okay, look, 2 to 1. That's a ratio you're outnumbered, especially if you count by holes. But but then like fucking 3. Like, what are you doing with 3? That's some. That's
Are we
some
playing
D-
speaking of
Skins
that,
here?
I'm
D
calling
from
3
Dallas
or I'm
thing.
texting 3 right now. But
Yeah,
yes.
this is good.
I mean, there's a crucial step that we missed here. Who's starting the camera? Somebody had to be on camera patrol.
What happened?
I didn't hear anybody turn the video camera on.
Oh, and then
I mean-
I don't know. Are they? And you don't know. Like you don't know what the.
Yeah,
and
that's-
you know what? Don't ask. Right?
Yeah, in
be
my
judge
experience-
later.
in my
Be judge later.
experience, You don't ask unless they say something.
Usually, if you're going to help with some sort of like, someone being anxious, adding a camera to the mix does not help. So if they're being gun shy or weak bladder or whatever the reference was earlier, like, hey, you know what? To make you feel better, if we've got data of this shit, so we can show everybody if we ever need to.
It ain't
Like,
gonna
yeah,
be
that's-
gun shy when I take these pants off.
Oh,
Then-
wow.
Then they just be laughing. Kind of breaks the tension. They're like, "That's it? That's all you got? That's all right." I mean, all right. We're here already. I mean, we might as well.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. So it's very funny. Like I feel like the coach that's in the skybox. I don't know why I know all this stuff that's going on, but I happen to know all this stuff that's going on. So I'm like, you guys don't be weird or be weird, and just the secondary or the last thing is, you've got the, sex is supposed to be fun. So already, if you're overthinking it, if all parties are that much up in their head and whatever about it, that's why when things happen organically and you don't have time to think, or you're intoxicated.
I was going to say intoxication seems to work well, but that's also my solution for just about anything. So, yeah.
I'm going to have breakfast. That would be much better while drinking.
That's why they made the breakfast shot. It goes right with breakfast.
So yeah, so there's a lot of that, and I tried to tell the young whippersnappers that, hey, look, if you're looking at this or you're thinking about this, dude, remember, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be fun. Dude, just knock yourself out, do whatever it is you need to do, and go there, right? Now and now fast forwarding into into real life and real time, I'm not particularly enamored with the whole threesome, right? That's just one more person to pay attention to.
Yeah, you've got one penis. Like, the holes are really
Wait, you got one?
outnumbered. Well, sort of half, I guess. Fine.
Right,
Yeah.
You got a whole one? What?
Yeah, the whole thing. We were bringing the
left
guy with.
side is gone. Free guys in the janitor closet. Don't ask. We were able to save the urethra, so I can still pee out of it.
There you go.
Oh, Tony joins and makes fun of me getting punched in the eye. Goddamn Giants! All you Giants got a joke. Bastard. What up, Tony? And what's up, Marlene? What's up? Obviously, I don't want to interrupt Shayna, Justina, and Samantha and whatever. You guys were having a wonderful conversation all by yourselves. Dude, the whole thing, the counter, like the ticket tape thing went, and I'm like, dude, did my screen freeze? I touched the screen and pull it up. These guys have already commented like 986 times, but they're talking amongst themselves.
Right.
The hell's going on?
They don't even care about us. They're
That's
like,
right.
hey, we can all group up in here.
That's right. Well, Al, you're supposed to be the eye in the sky. So if they say anything, notable and whatever,
I got an eye on it.
You got an eye on it? All right. Well, I know you do. Shayna, don't show up for the gangbang if you can't throw down.
Oh.
And see, now that's somebody who, but on your first one, like, okay, Shayna, on your very first one, and cool and whatever, because I'm going to guess by your response that there's been a couple of round robins in your day, right? There's been a game of horse or two, that has taken place in your presence. So if that's the case, Shayna had me waiting for the. What are you two? Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I was kind of looking through there. You guys are crazy.
I mean, alcohol seems to work. Even if you don't, just do it light. Get some, Mike's Hard Lemonade or Smirnoff or something like that.
Zima.
Just a little bit.
Zima. I'm fairly certain Zima has spawned a few threesomes in its day.
Yeah.
You don't know about Zima? Do you know about Zima?
I know about Zima. I'm just surprised Zima's still being made.
Dude, they did a limited release of it over
yeah.
summer, and we forced people to drink it. Like millennials, we were like, you little bastards. You don't know about this? You know how many bad decisions and, you know how much, like, fluorescent clothing I wore when I drank this? Like, hyper-colored, like, fluorescent
You know
tank
that was
top?
the first alcohol I ever had in my life?
Yeah?
Yeah. Took a couple of dad Zimas because that's all was in the house.
And, dude, you
I
could
was like 9 years old. What do you want from me?
That is good. Well, and you could probably pass that off if you got caught and got in trouble. You're like, what? I don't know. I thought it was Sprite, like some new Sprite
I
or
did
something.
that one time where I was like 13, 14 years old and couldn't sleep. So I got up and I made me a big old bowl of ice cream. And then I noticed there was some Mike's Hard Lemonade. And I was like, nah. So I drank a couple of them and then drank a couple more and then drank all of them. And then was kind of drunk because I was young. Went to bed and woke up. My mom, next morning, you had yourself a midnight snack, and I was like, "What? I got some ice cream and some lemonade, Mom. What do you mean? I don't understand what hard means."
They hadn't had that talk with you yet.
She totally bought it.
Nice.
Totally.
My first time
totally
I got
bought it.
caught, we were drinking out of a keg. There was a hidden keg at my uncle's wedding. I guess they had like a reserve one hidden away. I guess they did charge us for it, but he knew what it was. I thought it was like a Donkey Kong barrel, because that's about the
Of
level it
course.
was. But then when I found out there was beer inside, started looking around for a piece that fits, and then that's how I learned how a keg pump works. I think that was like 6th grade. I don't
There you
know.
go.
Got famous that. And then we
Industrious.
all, like me and my cousin, got just completely shithoused, and almost no one noticed for a long time because everyone was shithoused, And then I went up to the bar, and my brother was refusing to take a shot, and I believe the phrasing was, something about like you get your manhood when you take the shot, and he wouldn't do it, so I fucking pulled up and did a double, and then they knew I was drinking because I puked up what smelled like beer not too long after and couldn't really move that much after it, but yeah, it was really neat drinking out of a keg. And the second time I got caught was Tecate with lime and salt, and you really can't make that shit up.
I mentioned
Yeah, no.
Tecate. Nobody knows of Tecate. right? And or no, Tawaka. Mine was Tawaka. I mentioned Tawaka yesterday.
Tawaka is awesome. I haven't had that in forever.
Dude, I
Does
showed
it exist up here?
I had it at Bazooki when I worked at Bazooki. We were out of Jaeger and everyone wanted Jaeger. And in Texas, like my brother's bar, range was if you're out of Jaeger, you go with Tawaka. Tawaka would get you there, right? And it was similar-ish in a weird way. And you could make Jaeger bombs out of Tawaka and you would be fine. Dude, the hangover is ridiculous. I don't know if that crap is made with kerosene or whatever. But the bad decisions, like the first time I couldn't set my alarm on at Bazooki 2. My bartender was having a bad day, shenanigans was going and whatever, and I was like, oh, whatever. All this stuff was going on. Dude, we drank until 5:30. Like the one day that I kind of let my hair down as a manager of a bar. Dude, we drank there, did whatever. I'm walking out, can't set the alarm. Maybe it was coded out because we were it was way past time. There's 3. JC's in the room. We got Blazer off camera. 3. Yo, yo, yo.
So Shayna, to get back to the question we asked, she said that only one go around for her.
Which, dude, I'm not buying that. If this is the rule of 3.
Yeah, I'm not. No.
And there's no way she
But
answered
either way,
with.
here's the answer you brought up, the drinking thing. I'd like to put in. Get a bowl of fruit punch, put vodka in it, spike it that way. That way no one knows how many drinks you've had. You just kind of drink it and go as you go. Like, bring it back to high school party. Because if you're going to be nervous and weird about it, drink like a high schooler.
Yeah.
Maybe get some MD 2020, pour that shit in a bowl.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want me to drink like a high schooler? Because
You're not in this threesome.
Yeah.
I
you're not in this
drank a
threesome.
lot in high school.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sure. I'm sure it's cute.
well, you gotta think about. And yes, I did
Me
talk.
PTSD over here.
Well, and I gave my boy the conversation. And I was like, yeah, drink. And he, well, I don't know, should I not? I was like, yes, drink. Your very first threesome should be celebratory in a way, and you should have your drinks and your shenanigans.
It's going to make it better. There's no, like, if you're nervous and doing whatever, that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Not just because it's my go-to, but
I mean, I'm on the opposite side. I like to not drink and then have sex.
whenever you're going to be encountering multiple people and you've never done that before,
And
Oh,
they're all-
I better not be drinking because I got to have my wits about me there.
No, I don't know.
I
mean,
got to know how to start the camera, man. What do you want?
this guy with the camera. Dude, Al tried talking about weird porno stuff here, and he was like, well, we do have the lighting and whatever. And I was like, no. And I was like, no. I mean, it wouldn't be illegal as long as somebody's getting paid for it and there's a camera in the room, right? That's
Yeah,
the
but
old
don't you
Jim
have to have,
Jeffries.
like licenses and.
Nah, technically.
Oh well. All right.
Yeah, no, it's a weird catch.
it's a really weird law.
Yeah.
It really
Alright.
is. It's
Well, that's good to know. So,
like anything illegal. Like, so if you go to downtown and you pick up a prostitute, that's illegal unless you film it. As soon as you film it and intend to distribute it, that's no longer illegal.
Yeah. How about that for a weird law?
what if I just like get with a really smoking hot girl and then she's like, "Oh my God, you took a video of us and I'm gonna turn you in," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm showing this to all my friends."
Actually, now they've got a new one where you can do facial recognition through your camera, and if it matches up to you, videos go down. It's an automated software that matches it up.
What?
Yep.
Yep.
Google already
Technology,
adopted it.
man.
So yeah, and I don't know, Al, you, Al and his images, yeah, you, it's a thing, dude. Al, you,
Oh,
I
wouldn't
mean,
you like to know about my images?
I already have, bro. What are you talking about? I've creeped over your house.
Okay.
Me and the cats have hung out. I know what's happening.
You're
over there.
in some of those images. It was a really weird night.
And what
Some
about-
some of that Tawaka?
And 3, have you had a look? One of the first times I ran into 3, where I thought I had some weird sexual shenanigans in my head or whatever. We worked together, right? We had worked together in one of the craziest. We'd had a very weird business that we were doing, right? It was back in the drink days and whatever, right? So we're all together, we're working, and I was the captain of the. Don't go to this strip club. I don't want to get shot and whatever. You go to this one and it's good, and you guys are from out of town and whatever. So we get there and we have the whole setup. This guy, I leave him unattended, and here you go, ladies. Just so you know, three's got enough to feed the needy, right? This guy,
Believe me, baby.
see, everything has been music based or whatever.
Whatever that was.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, everything's cool, blah blah blah. He looks over. And he's like, hey, man, dude, this place is great and whatever. No, everything's cool. He goes off with a girl. Then I see him grab another. And it's just like a pile of women on him and whatever. And I'm
It's
just
that
like,
happy panda stuff.
exactly. I'm like, well, dude, he seems to be having a pretty good time. I was like, cool, right? So I'm not like a babysitter in the strip club. I'm like, hey, knock yourself out, have a good time. He comes up to me and was like, hey, man, dude, this is the greatest place ever, man. Did you come here? How do you know? Whatever. Gives me the whole rundown. And he was like, but man, you can't let me come here way too often. And I went, dude, we barely know each other. Like, we've worked together for like a month, and I really dig you. And I had a feeling that I was going to be friends with you forever. But we hadn't really had that talk, right? We're not in like friend relationship yet where, you're my boy, I'm your dude, we'll be friends forever. Don't let me come here all that often. He's laughing about the panda. And so he's like, oh, yeah, this is a dude. He's like, man, good thing we're making like $1,000 a day or whatever because I kind of went haywire. And I was like, yeah, dude, I saw you with this girl, that girl, and then like 3 of them at the same
They
time.
took all my money. They got all of it. They took 2,000 and them bitches took it.
Yeah, no, dude, he was like, man, you got a couple stores I can go see tomorrow, man, because I got a little out of hand. And I was like, hey, man, that's on you. I was like, you see, I was just with one, right? You gotta keep that. He was like, no, I ain't got no chill whatsoever. So, and 3, Happy Panda. He put the panda emojis and everything. How many threesomes have you been in? Have you been in the threesomes? How many of them?
And did any of them include women?
Oh, yeah, there we go. There's the ball busty.
I like it because he can't really talk back. I've got the advantage of like.
Oh, I'll
voice.
let
He
you
has
know
to
what
type
they
it
say.
in. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, you do the panda voice when they rob me without a
How
gun.
do you do a panda voice?
I don't know. You seem to be the voice of the show. You've got the smoky old lady voice.
I don't know, what does a panda sound like?
I don't know. Just imagine,
A happy panda.
yeah, a happy panda, a large black man with a huge, large black man penis. I happen to know this because he tricked me on the phone and went, hey, man, look at my rims on my car. Ha ha. Take a look at
My
that.
dick.
Yeah, every time I've ever mentioned an angry, like, oh, that thing's angry. What's happening? How, dude, are girls happy to see that? Like, I could see, now I know why they have that weird look in their eye when I meet them, like, you're friends with this guy? Oh, so... Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of like counting down on this weird. I did in my, because I'm a team player, I offered them like, look, if you need me to coach this thing, I will sit on the couch with a box of popcorn, right? Maybe some jujubes or some snow caps, because it's going to be a lot like, I feel like I'm going to be entertained by this either properly or horribly, right? And I will coach, and I'm like, no, the 2 girls, you guys kiss. Hey, idiot, 2 fingers, not one. What are you? Don't touch there, right there. And okay, everybody, 1 position to the left. Like I would be giving the almost like Twister, but I would be the I would be the originator of the shenanigans. Samantha had quite a few with her man. God, dude, you girls in the T are awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would do it, but I wouldn't be the one like, oh, we need to do. But if for whatever reason you were like, will you please bang me and my friend? I guess. I mean, you guys do whatever. And again, I would get very, hokey pokey. Put your left foot in, put your right foot out.
I mean, I can't see a scenario I do it. I'm also not married long term for anything, so you know what I mean. Like, I think that was the one thing key I've always had when I was offered. Is like you just randomly like, yeah, I've been married for a while, and it's kind of a
need
thing.
to
She
spice
shuts
it
up
up.
for a while. So
I just want to know why Samantha's got to air all our dirty laundry out here, man.
What'd she say?
Talking about all our threesomes.
Oh, that's it. He's
But,
in pseudo relationships with everyone in the team.
Everybody.
Dude, you want to talk about being? I lived with 2 women for about 4 months.
All my ladies.
3, I've lived with 2 women for about 4 months. I remember the stories. That's right. I should have recalled your threesome shenanigans. I'm trying to think if I had any weird. Well, I told you the one with the don't be a mo, right? That one was a creepy one. There's been quite a few. Just I don't know. I'm kind of over it. My hi Faith, how are you?
like I said, it's not anything I can really be all that entertained by because I've got one penis. Like, and honestly, one woman is plenty enough work for me to have to get through. So just to handle, like, oh God, I gotta deal with this shit.
I still want to know how you got a whole one, man.
Well, and I don't even.
Was I not in the right line or what?
Well, look, I don't even mess around like watching like girl on girl porn. I don't watch it. Like that's how far, like my quest for anal was. It was an uphill battle, and then when I finally got it, I was like, ah. And then my ex liked it way too much, and I was like, right? That seems excessive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like your enthusiasm, and that kind of thing went through. And then same thing with the girl on girl and the whole threesome thing. that was cool and whatever, but I think after you've done it and whatever, I mean, I wouldn't turn down on a boring, Thursday night, like two chicks who wanted to do whatever. I think that would be neat. I just wouldn't try and put it out in the universe. Travis and the people he peed on, the tent story.
The 10 people.
They've taken down the you cannot find that video anywhere. I hope somebody's got it
I can find
archived
it.
somewhere. Yeah, because I went to NBC4, NBC5 in Dallas, couldn't find it. I mean, I did a long.
It's archived in the National Registry. You can open up the archives and go in there. Yeah, that's
The
That was a
government's
doozy.
got it somewhere.
Dude, I think we're gonna throw Shayna into a threesome or a cyber threesome. Faith is hot.
I think we are.
Dude, you not only thirsty, you hungry and thirsty. Shayna, look, I ain't mad at you. I
Wait.
want photo documentation. This girl, she's all over everything. I love it. Wait, what? What are you doing over there, guy?
I clicked a picture to go to a profile, and it was the wrong profile that popped up.
You're not looking at 3. You're not looking at JC. That wasn't what I was going for.
It's crazy. I opened up his profile, and it was just a giant black dick. That's his entire profile.
You're only
That's it.
you're only 1 or 2 Google searches away from it. Ladies from What's Your Flavor? Yeah, the What's Your Flavor folks, which is kind of an offshoot or some kind of a like cousin to late night tea, because I do see a lot of people back and forth. But yeah, dude, these groups are the greatest thing. Blazer, you're not yes, Faith, Samantha. Faith is obviously very popular. You look very cute in your little medallion thing.
Yeah, your little
That was-
tiny little picture.
That comment was reserved just for Justina for a while. And I like Justina, the cool name, right? It's Justin and Christina kind of smushed together, like didn't know we're not going to have a gender reveal party. And then you just kind of smush the name together and go, we both win. Which I think your parents are very progressive, the fact that they smushed that name. I've never met a Justina. Have you?
No, I don't think so.
No. Not even Black Panther, this guy. All right, so what else? So we did need to I gave Al, a few minutes. I was like, the Reverend Blazer's coming in. I was like, he's a smart dude. He knows some things. He also looks like a weird angry grizzly bear. And I go, we talked a little bit about our racial stuff, and it's funny, with 3, if this sounds like every other argument, conversation, or
Past
whatever.
2:00 in the morning at the
Yeah,
office.
at the office. Well, the 3 of us were trapped in an office together for years upon years and multiple
I
different.
apologize to 3
What's up, James?
for having to be in that office with you. Whew.
Hey, though I'm a good
couldn't
dude to
do
be
it.
in the office. Dude, you come here of your own will and volition to hang out with me. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but he was locked in a room with you.
Yeah, that's cool. We've been locked in a lot of rooms. We used to bring the strip club back to the office back in the day. That was a good one. But we went into some of the things that we talked about, right, and some of the ideas and whatever. Now, and
that was whenever I said the quote of whatever, of like, what are you doing with your freedom or something of whatever. That was just like mic drop, hilarious. And
yeah,
horrible. It was
oh,
great.
dude, and then it was like him and Tim would go back and forth. Tim, African American gentleman in the warehouse, and 3 in the office, and he'd come in and do this, and that, and it was a tagline of.
Their bickering back and forth was some of the funniest ever in the world. Like, dude, Tim and 3 going at it was hilarious.
Dude, when I brought Fortune and Ken and whatever, and we were in the office and they're listening, and they're like, dude, I've never heard, like, dude, those 2 are being just sanely racist towards one another. And I was like, yeah, they're both black dudes, and they're yelling and screaming at each other and saying some of the funniest things. I mean,
was
they're
a great
doing it and
environment
laughing.
to be caught in, and ultimately, like, we got the way that the path went down was basically generationally. Like, when do you say that the generation of like slavery or the the repercussions of it stopped, and what's the length of it? And somehow we got into it of like, what, if you can make a change over one generation, then you don't get to make that claim. Yes, there are hangups. Yes, there are other things going on. I don't remember if back then I brought up the drug thing and the charges and whatever, but I think we just kind of went through like, look, what opportunity does your kid not have the way that you did? Yeah, it sucks, dude. Your mom and dad didn't do everything right for you, but that's not necessarily a race thing. That happens to everybody. Like, you were raised by werewolves, right?
Right, yeah, I was kind of left on my own.
So you know what I mean? So like, okay, cool. So that's personal CrossFit. That's not a racial divide. There are good things. I think that is where I brought up. I was like, there are really good arguments for this. I very rarely ever hear them. Like the actual drug system thing, like that one. Okay, cool. Well, felony, you got to check that box every time you fill out an application. You make shit money doing it, whatever. And from the nature of it, if you got in trouble for buying drugs, you know where to get drugs. Anyone that knows where to get drugs can sell drugs. People like drugs. It's recession proof, right? Pretty secure as long as you don't get locked up by the cops. And everyone thinks they're smart enough to get away.
3 said, "Shut up, cracker ass cracker." But yeah, no, we had a what was it, Tuesday night show or Monday night show where we had talked about some things, and in the current climate of everything and how we go about stuff, the minute somebody says something, if you're not sympathetic about situation A, B, and if it has to deal with a minority or whatever, everyone, it's now like almost a joke tagline, like fake news with the everything going on in Washington, right? Somebody will be like, "Hey man, did you see it?" Fake news, and everyone laughs. Same thing with, you'll say something and, "Hey, did you see this and that?" "Well, I just went and grabbed that," whatever. "Oh, that's racist." So that becomes a quick jokey tag.
It's such a cheap like move for everyone whenever they do it. Like, first off, and it's something that like people allow these conversations, especially around race, they become emotionally hijacked and can't think and do whatever because it seems bad. But like I was telling you, like every conversation I've ever heard other people do, no one stops to define racism. It's a lot like sport, right? Sport can mean a lot of things. Croquet is a sport, and kickboxing is a sport. They share almost none of the same rules and the other ones, but they're both called a sport. And so when someone says like, "Oh, I'm not racist," and then you find their explanation where, "Okay, well, what do you mean racist?" Like, "Well, I don't think that they should be killed." Okay, well, there's some more stops. There's some more checkpoints on this road to racism, and we'll see where you're at. Right? Like, yeah, that's definitely racist, but do you think that they are worth less or more likely to be, less useful in any general context of a specific one? Because if your answer is yes, that's still what I would call racist, right? And some people don't even know. Then you get like, "Oh yeah, well shit, yeah, then I'm racist." And like, cool, then we can sidestep that 40-minute
inquiry, yeah.
So I mean, it's
The definition of racism: prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior.
that would be great if dictionaries were prescriptive, but they're not.
God,
They
I wish
explain
they were.
colloquial ways to actually use it so that no, it's not. That's I said, whenever people say it, they mean something different than what the dictionary says. You don't get to refer back to like, "Hey, this is what you meant." No, this is what I was describing. No, the dictionary says this. No. That's not what people mean with it. So everyone's going to have their own meaning for it whenever they say it. And yes, you can point to dictionary, but they're not authoritative because if we were in England, we'd be calling it a lexicon. But we're in America, so it's a dictionary.
Right, and I agree. And one of the reasons, Faith, that we have some of these conversations and why we talk about it, obviously, something in the news pops up. We had something actually more localized where a gentleman that we know and we see on a regular basis came through and, "Hey, blah blah blah. Well, man, I wanted to talk to the dude in the lime green hat because
he challenged me on it.
Because he said this, and this, and whatever." Now it's funny because I took the comedic role after a while, right?
Right.
Obviously,
Somebody's got to.
and I'm not sympathetic one way or the other, right? I'm basically sociopathic. I am. I still get 25% of a vote. There you go, 3. But three loves that dude, and these are things that we talk about, right? Because I'm not inherently racist, neither is Travis, neither are you. Now, some of the things that obviously you can see how perceived value, and even perceived value, and even in an argumentative value, right? And there were things I kind of went over it with Travis where we were going back and forth and here and there. And one of the things where we got to a we got to a point where you were blatantly in repeating what somebody else said using the N-word in a conversation. No, and I was like, and did you hear as he was saying, he went, "Man, don't say that to me." You didn't stop. You continued talking right over, and that was a funny thing, and that was a point that Travis had brought up and made, and it goes to again the argument, you can't say that, right? Well, you can't say that, and then you play it off the back and forth, right?
See, I got no time for double standards. I mean, that is I have zero time for it. If I can't say the N-word, you better not.
Well,
then I want the exact same.
So
hatred
mention your purple
and vitriol when somebody says cracker.
So here's what I'm going to
Yeah, but see, you take it to like reversely offensive, and it's funny, and you get it. I like the high ground with it, but you do know that everyone that hears that kind of goes,
oh, sure.
No, so the argument.
Here's my
50
point.
years ago, everybody who heard something like "black people can do that," Drew, had the same reaction.
Well, however you look at it, but see, I don't take, and maybe it's because I don't take offense to much, right? Because
Most things that involve free speech, I've spent a bit of time on with,
I didn't see no Tiffany.
with some type of dialogue on someone to do it, because it's something I've spent a lot of time on. Because in order to say something like, "Hey, you can't say that," well, my first response is usually like, "Is that a road that you want to go down? Do
Yeah,
you
that's
want to
also
start
true.
setting up specific laws for black people and white people?" Because I got to tell you, history hasn't been too kind to your side
Right.
over the time. It's not
But-
worked out well. So setting up rules and doing whatever. So that's kind of like, yes, it does the same thing. But here's what happens: as soon as you start to say what you can and can't do, you have to put someone in charge of censorship. There's never been a panel of censorship that hasn't degraded into something horrible or corrupt.
Guess who would be currently in charge of censorship?
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, but it's because look, here's the problem with censorship is that, when you like false ideas or false information or misleading information is to democracy what blowing up someone is to terrorism.
Absolutely.
That's how you get your people to vote against their interest and do other things. It's a different way of scaring them. So when you even try and invoke the idea of censorship, you have to have a really, really strong case for it to make sense, because the goal
Right.
is maximal freedom for everybody. And in order to limit someone's freedom, you really need to have a good fucking reason before Patriot Act. But that's kind of the point of like, okay, cool. Do you really want to limit it? And I'll try my best to not use language that you like. If you hate the word, muffin or moist or whatever, like I'll give you the same courtesy I would probably
half
give
of our
anyone
listeners
else.
right now are like, I'm done listening. He said it. He said the M word. I can't do it. I'm
Dude,
crying.
are you telling me this group loves moist?
But that's
Oh, I
but that's
bet
my
they
but that's
love
my point. It's
moist.
like I'm gonna start telling people like, you know what? You can't use proper nouns because I don't fucking like proper
Yeah.
nouns. And
I
so long
find
as
that
you don't use
offensive.
proper nouns, I'm not going to use that word. Is that fair? Because
But-
we don't do that in any other context of like, there's sometimes like, hey, can you please not use that word? It kind of depends. I don't know. Am I at your house or are you at mine with 12 of my other friends where I use that word?
Right.
I think that it's a very slippery slope. As soon as you try and do any type of action with, hey, that shouldn't be said, or some type of censorship, it's a really tricky road if you just take it and do a little thought experiment and see what else what that sets the precedent for.
Right.
So, and there's part of the argument taken from and that's where having an argument or a discussion and not taking it personal, right? And that is almost the goal of debates and whatever, where you're talking about fact and reason and science without allowing emotion to get in, right? Because the minute it's, well, if you say this and I say this, or then you would say this about me, right? And that's one of the first mistakes in getting into debate arguments of that
That's
point.
Like, if you're having an honest dialogue from two different standpoints, both of you should walk away learning something.
Exactly.
And that's the point of whenever you get emotionally hijacked on something, and that's another short stop before you're getting complicated and things are getting thrown out, and they're thinking about 4 more things before you do it. Just ask, if I could prove this to your satisfaction, would you change your mind? If the answer is no, then fucking move
why are we-
on. Move
why are
on
we
to something
talking about it?
constructive. And that's some of the things. Whenever
Yep.
you try and tackle such a broad topic, that's the case of like, no. So if you take someone that a diehard Trump fan and you go, hey, if I convince you of this, and this, will it change your mind about him? No. Well, then you can't
Yeah,
do that. Then
yeah,
pick
well.
a smaller topic about it. You can still have a constructive one. Okay, cool. Did
Let's
this
be
happen?
honest. If they voted for Trump, there was nothing that was going to change their mind. If he
Well, I
if he
mean-
didn't change their mind, nobody was going to.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing is minds change slowly and gradually over time. That's why I
Yeah.
hate the argument. And one of my atheist things we talk about is it's the most idiotic thing. I guess, especially it's funny in a room of atheists because, it's the most idiotic thing when they ask when you hear someone bring up something along the lines of, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. What the hell they said?
Well,
Damn it.
Jake posted something. I think it was you who posted something that was like,
I'm sorry, when they say you can't change someone's mind, you can't argue someone into a position that they didn't get into logically. But the fact of the matter is that everyone, at least if you're in America, if you're an atheist, you started out a Christian for the most part, and then something slowly but surely changed your mind.
And you're right. I mean, what is a debate other than, now there are debates and we've seen them a lot in the political realm, which are just, I'm just going to throw mud at you. But if you're debating properly, you're debating using facts and logic. You're not debating on emotion.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the problem with a formal debate, though. When you've got times, the guy that's lying has the advantage. It takes longer to uncover a lie than it does to tell
Exactly.
one. So, I mean, and that's what I felt like. What a lot of the science community is moving towards now, instead of having they've still got their big symposiums and big things that they'll gather in and have a kind of panel with a debate sort of thing, but they're now
Right.
moving more towards actual just dialogue back and forth with the mediator,
Right.
because of just kind of directing time. Because as soon as you set up the structure of debate of this is your point, this is mine, it sets up for ideas where you have to answer what you think they're going to say, and you're not really having a constructive conversation.
Exactly. I mean, you get 2 minutes, and if you just sit there and lie to me, and I got to take my 2 minutes unspinning all your lies, I haven't actually said anything.
Right.
I mean,
and
I
that's,
haven't-
but
I
that's the
haven't
way that it goes in the
said my
political
point.
realm. I'd like to see it with an actual narrative, with the dialogue, instead of like, hey, here's your time, here's your time. Like, hey, what do you two
Right.
talk about, and explain why, what your method is and why it works, instead of just filling up a 5-minute timestamp with, let me tell you what my opponent's going to do.
Right.
And
And that's something that I think we have seen change a little bit, is especially around the end of the last election, is there's been a lot more town halls, a lot more both on both sides going to universities and speaking and engaging the audience and talking and having these dialogues.
Yeah, the problem is that the universities are now like the
the
education
biggest-
system is crushing down. Like it's not like its main point was to make you feel uncomfortable, make you learn something new, learn how to learn. Is essentially it. But like it's become such this weird, like super left wing, like coddling environment that's not working anymore. It's
Right.
not doing what it should. Like
The
they,
educational institutes are the biggest killer of free speech in this
Well, I mean,
country
if you
today.
look at like something like a teaching program, right? And there's it's different by state, but if I'm not mistaken, like Michigan had only like and it's whenever someone retires, that goes into like a little teachers union thing. You can look at how many teachers are going to retire in Michigan this year, and how many schools are still promoting more. They've already got an excess. They got more teachers popping up by far than they got retiring. Those jobs aren't
Right.
getting replaced, and yet they're still pushing out these education degrees to absolutely everybody, and just tough shit. That's not the way the education system works. It's supposed to guide you into the field afterwards, but the price has gone up 3 or 4 times. Like I said, I
Right.
think it's going to switch to online. I think it's going to become much more.
Well, I mean,
affordable.
I did the online education, and it was great until they switched the platform and books stopped arriving, and
Well, but something he and I have been going over, right? With watching the current movement towards
3, that's like a quarter of it. Come on, man.
what's that? Oh yeah, there you go, babe. Three is just all in the mix with I should have known, but he fits right in with
Yeah, he does.
with the shenanigans of late night tea, dude. He is too much, man. That is funny. But when we were talking about possibly with the possible online, the online universities or a Google university, right? Because you look at online, and online is interesting, but right now, if we wanted to do a personal study in neurology, right? If we were doing neurology in, just something I want to learn and something I want to, I want to get into, you can watch seminars and watch all these.
All the classes, teachers are doing it, like right, for extra money.
Right.
You think about it, like, and here's my point of why the universities are wasting today's technology. Think about how much it costs for that seating for everyone to be in there.
Right.
Do you think when you see a professor do it, they leave everything else to the aides? They know what questions are going to be asked that class period. They're never caught off guard if they've been doing it for 15 or 20 years. So why
Right.
the hell not record a video, reduce the cost of a gigantic auditorium that includes janitors and technical support? And
Well, I mean, you're seeing it right now. You go to some place like Coursera, and you can get certificates, not degrees, from Duke and Harvard and Yale and Princeton and the University of Alberta. Now, you don't have to go through any process of like, I'm going to go to your school and here's my application. It's here's my money, give me your recorded lectures, and if I pass the class, here's my certificate that says I have a certificate from Duke in whatever, in business economics.
yeah, but I mean, I think it's those are the degrees that aren't really going to be helping very much, especially with AI and automation moving on this one.
If you go to Coursera, there is a ton with computer science, AI, machine learning.
And so I guess in fields like that, yeah, you'll
Right.
probably be.
And I tell people, because I work in the industry, and we have kids that come in as interns, and they're going through school, and I look at them and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I won't just openly be like, stop going to school, but if they ask me, well, how'd you get to where you are? I tell them, I'm like, I didn't go to college. I decided this is what I wanted to do, and I read every freaking thing I could on writing code and on all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went and I wrote code, and I did it for free because I really liked doing it. And then somebody said, you're good at it. Come be our intern. And I went and I took that internship, and I turned it into a job. And now I'm making more money than I thought I'd ever make in my life. And I never went to college. I don't have any college debt. College is pointless.
And that's kind of my point. Is it used to be a environment that got you ready for life. It put you in complicated situations. Like speakers would come on. Now you're getting universities shut down left and right just because the opposing side doesn't want to hear it. And that's that's unfortunately what it's become. It's not as much of an environment because they're so worried about everyone's feelings and how and not stepping
Right.
over a line, because I'm willing to bet that lawsuits probably have something to do with it.
Right.
That you
I
make
mean,
someone feel bad, you can get the shit.
You want to talk about colleges and lawsuits? I had a class. This class was called Interracial Communications. And it was the most left-wing BS class I've ever taken. We didn't even talk about anything racial. Like, it was all this, and it was a 60-year-old liberal professor who, on like the first day, to introduce herself to the class, said, "My daughter used to joke that when people asked what I did for a living, that I collected severance pay, because I'd get fired and then I'd sue my company for discrimination." I can't make this up. She comes. I've only ever walked out of one class when it didn't involve sex, and it was this lady. Because I walk in.
Were you limping out of the class?
Oh, I was not. I was getting out of that room as fast as I could before I opened my mouth because it was coming. But she sits there.
You just said open my mouth and come in. That is good.
But she sits there and she goes, "If you're black or you're a woman and you get fired, just sue them, because it costs less for them to pay you than it does to fight the lawsuit." This is what our colleges are teaching people.
Well, it was actually useful information. It's more than I fucking learned in any of my classes.
It's true.
That's at least useful in life.
Well, like, this is
I had a
what colleges
marketing
are telling
professor
us.
give me a book from 1984, a marketing class. The book was published in 1984. That was before the internet. That really upset me. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's also things like, look, there are colleges that do it right. There are ways to network and meet people and do
Right.
whatever, but it's not what it used to be. The cost has gone up. The benefit has gone down. Everything's moving. That's an old fossil structure, and for the new world is virtual. Sorry,
Yeah.
like it's too expensive for what it is. There needs to be, and they're starting to let you start testing out of more higher degree courses with masters and stuff where you
Right.
can actually pass the test, because the workforce needs it. We have people that are getting degrees, but
going
not
on,
anything we
Jasmine?
need.
Hey,
Yeah,
we got Jasmine in the house. 3, be nice. Jasmine looks kind of neat in her little medallion there, so
She
be
does.
nice. I should say Jasmine. Jasmine, meet JC. What do you got? Crazy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get her.
All right. So, all right. So, and this is where we, if, I'm not coming down the most recent time that, that Blaze will be coming down, but we need to. And I've been in Houston on multiple occasions, and he was like, "Man, I go hang out with Rick and whatever." And he was like, "Dude, the food's crazy, and this, and this." So he's told me about all the times that he's been down and when in Houston, hanging out and doing whatever. And yeah, my time, I didn't have as much time in Houston as Travis, but yeah, there's been a lot of things calling us back to Texas, to Dallas, and to be around that area. So yes, I think we do need to have a weird get together. And
Do we need to just do a remote week in Texas?
if you can come, you're more than welcome.
I probably can't.
Probably can or can't.
Can't.
Okay, well then
I'm
why'd
like-
you throw it
no,
out there?
no,
How
I'm
the
a
guy want to?
pushing-
How do you
no,
want to
no,
invite
no.
himself?
Who
and then,
does this? It's unbelievable.
No, I'm pushing a new concept called a workcation. We have staycations where you go on vacation, but
I'm
you
from
don't
Texas.
actually go
Every
anywhere.
vacation's a workcation. I don't know how you're
Yeah.
talking about.
But
We work
that's
on
right. So
everyone.
I'll go on vacation, right? But something happens, and then I have to get back on. And I notice, like, man, work is a hell of a lot better when I'm in the mountains and I'm not at work or at home. So, like, why can't we just take a week and be like, I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to work my 8 hours. I'm going to be online. I'm going to do my stuff, but I'm going to do it from Texas. And when I log off, I'm in Texas.
Well, okay, you want to know the weirdest? You remember we're down and we're doing stuff. We're in. Travis and I, or Reverend Blazer and I, have been known to. Yeah, this is Jim,
like 5 times.
Fred. I'm just gonna start throwing out dude names or whatever. So we've been down in and around that area quite a bit, right? So we're intrinsically from Dallas. We were doing business in Houston. Blazer has this. Cool, we'll go to this Hooters over here, and it's close to the warehouse, so right, we can take a break, and we'll go there, and we'll have many beers, and we'll eat some wings, and dude, there's a pretty hot chick there, and whatever, and this is cool. We go there. I'm sitting there, and I don't know if it's because, and I don't look that friendly. I really don't. Things are bigger here. God damn it, 3. So I know that Jake, he's a friendly dude, and I'm communicative. I talk. I have hey, who are you, random dude? Right? I'll do all that stuff. generally when you look at me, I don't understand why people go, yeah, that's a dude I just want to go randomly be friendly with, right? Big Shrek-looking odd fellow. I get this dude. Oh, his chick was looking at us, and we were like, dude, what is this chick? She's with this, like, teardrop tattoo, like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Dude, I meant to tell this story not too long ago, but we're
Yeah,
we're
I was thinking Houston. I was thinking back in the drink days. I was
No,
like, I don't
this
remember
was-
going to Hooters then, but yes, this is oh boy.
So we're sitting there, and they're a pretty hot chick, but she looks like she used to be a stripper or possibly a prostitute. Don't know. Either way, I'm totally cool with it, right? We all make weird decisions in our life, and you're fine. But as we're doing this, she keeps kind of looking. She comes over, asks us for a light or something.
Yeah.
We're talking. She
The chickens.
yeah. And I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're having an interesting conversation. Oh, yeah, this is my man. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm like, Blazer, no matter what she says or how much we drink, we're not going and having a weird foursome with this one chick and the dude with a teardrop tattoo and like, I think he had kind of a Tyson, like, face tattoo. So I'm trying to be nice, right? Because I don't want to get shanked or shot in this Houston Hooters. So as we're sitting there, I'm like, okay, cool. The dude's like, man, oh, you guys are from Detroit and whatever. Okay, that's cool, man.
You want a pound of cocaine?
Yeah, he was like, man, he was like, you guys do cocaine up there? And I'm like, I don't, not really. I mean, I'm sure that people do. I don't really do the cocaines, but and, man, it's crazy. I got some really good stuff, man. Really good prices, man, and whatever. Y'all driving up there, man. I can put it in your
Because we were
truck.
talking about our business and like wholesale stuff with that, whatever. And they're like, oh man, yeah. Oh, you want like $10,000 worth? I got it right here. I'm like, Jesus, like that's really weird to bring up. We just met you 30 minutes ago or like 15 minutes ago. I'm like, you guys, he kept, I think he was of his chickens. He was like, I got 2 chickens in the truck right now for like 2. But then his wife had like worked for a farmer's thing and actually had packaging solutions for what we were looking for. So we remember I was talking to her about that and like, oh, so you guys got a business and oh, that's really good. You want to buy some cocaine? Like it was.
And
really weird.
wasn't he like, man, I mean, if you guys normally is like 10, 11 grand, man, but I get you 975 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to eat some chicken wings. And I'm like, and he wouldn't leave us alone, right? Like, and I was like, dude, you are either the worst criminal. Look at me and look at my haircut. How would you not mistaking, the fact that I'm having a couple beers and chicken wings that I possibly could be a police officer or something, right? And you're just having this conversation with me, and I'm like, what in the actual F is happening? So we kind of had to do it's crazy. I'm going to go, like we did a almost dine and dash. We paid our bill, but I was like, dude, I'm getting the hell out of here before, crazy. I just got out of prison like 3 weeks ago, was trying to shove cocaine. I was like, dude, did you lock the Armada? Dude, I really don't want to get in the Armada and find out that we owe.
I had some weird nights of that Hooters. I went there a lot because it was right around the corner from the warehouse or the factory that for Eritor. But yeah, that was there was a couple weird characters in there, but that was definitely the weirdest. Like there was a guy who was hallucinating shit and would like draw pictures. Mm-hmm. I think he was on drugs, some type of drug, or that he was just really loony. But like he would come in and like draw pictures about people's lives and like give it to you just like a stick figure with a gun. Like you're like, oh boy, that's weird. I don't want to make the wrong comment because he may start shooting up the joint, But it was I drank at that place a bit.
Yeah, it was interesting, and
we had a good time. It was just really weird. This guy kept trying to sell us like 5 digits of cocaine. Like it was like, hey, you want to buy $10,000 worth of cocaine tonight? Like, what are you? It was like something. She was like, oh, if you buy it for now, I'll give you, for only 2 payments, you can get this, and we'll throw in this bag of heroin. Like.
Yeah, dude. It was kind of trippy. So Houston, and I mean, I live there, but we didn't. Rick asked for an original. He asked for an original Jakey story. I don't know, dude. You got any things that we haven't discussed or whatever in a while? I mean, I'm kind of freaked out. Like, dude. Okay, so Rachel and Marlene and whatever. Dude, how bizarre was that the whole, like, we had a Clash of the Clans of like Facebook groups in here. Like, I guess some of the people that used to be in the late night tea and have all switched over to others. Like there was like a weird rumble in here, dude. Like that was the random thing in life. I don't know if you caught it, Al, but there was some almost like, some anger going on in there, dude. It was random.
There was definitely some anger.
Yeah, it don't happen.
Yeah, so we went over the weird threesome thing. We did whatever. We've already talked about Blazer and having sex with the time Travis wrecks the Armada. This is good. Yeah, that
also Hooters Day. We met up. We were supposed to meet up with me and your brother at like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock at Hooters. And you didn't show up till 5 or 6, and we just kept drinking while we were waiting. And then you showed up, and we kept drinking. And we went to Fry Street where they got 50-cent shots, and kept drinking. And went to a house party, kept drinking, and yeah, well, that one started with Hooters as well.
Yeah, and you got to try and keep it positive in the late night tea. There you go, Alyssa, trying to keep it keep it set. Yeah, that night. So Reverend Blazer, right? And everyone knows, and we've got a couple people that know the Reverend Blazer quite well. This whole night, the kid drinks like nobody's business, right? He can drink better than most, right? I've seen many amazing things when drinking. We were at a bar. I'm not too intoxicated. My little brother's in town from Michigan. He's moving down there and going to start going to school in Dallas, and we're down there and everything's fine, right? So we leave Fry Street and we're on the University of North Texas campus. We drive off and we go to a house party. Well, I forget that the house party is okay. Cool. We're at a house party. You had some kind of misgivings with the dude there and whatever, and we went, I will just leave Blazer to himself, right? He'll run around. So we go in. My buddy Campbell and I are having some drinks. We're trying to wrestle, with a couple girls possibly. So we're in there doing our stuff. We don't even get intoxicated. Like, we're sober-ish, right? Maybe have a few more drinks. We go ahead and we get ready to leave, right? And you almost get into a fight with the dude, and you call him names and whatever, but we end up leaving.
I threatened to break the people around him if he didn't.
That's right.
It was let's go outside. I heard you had something to say. And then he started crying.
You.
Well, no, he started crying, and then his 3 friends on the couch were like, man, just go, man. We don't want this here. And I was like, all right, how about this? Get up, or I'm gonna start breaking their bones.
And
outside. And I got outside, and he was a slobbering mess, and I was just like, you're fucking pathetic. And then the guy said the party was over. Apparently, I ruined it. Oops.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the end of the party. So we all walk over to the vehicle, right? And it's a Nissan Armada, and this thing is a tank, right? It is a Sherman tank. It's very fast. It does all kinds of cool stuff, and ironically ends up being extremely durable, right? so as we get ready to head off, he gets behind the wheel, and I go, and I notice that I'm not nearly intoxicated. I'm like, you want me to drive? I'm like, are you cool? And he was like, dude, I'm cool. I just had to yell at that dude and whatever. It's fine. So we get in the car. So there's 4 of us in the Armada. We pull off, and we have to go through probably 4 to 5 side streets, driving through a neighborhood. Well, we get in there. He turns up the radio. Now, when you know your friend and you know that when he drinks too much, he likes music way too loud, doesn't care what the song is, just weird ambient noise, like screaming in your ears. So as this is going, I'm like, we're driving, and I'm like, dude, I was like, bro, what are you doing? Turns the corner and gets up to 55 in a neighborhood street, just like, anyone's neighborhood street we lived on. And I'm like, bro, I was like, dude, I got my brother in the car. Why are you driving so crazy? He looks at me and gives out a, rah, and I went, oh no. I was like, dude, you're drunk. You need to be cool. So I turned the radio down. I grabbed the, the gear shift or the doohickey. And I'm like, bro, we're going to I'm going to slam this thing in park and we're going to drop your trans. Be cool. So he pumps the brakes and was like, dude, I got it. I know, my bad. I'm just a little fired up. We turn one more street corner and he nails it again. And now we're doing 65 in this neighborhood. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to punch you in the side of your head while you're driving, right? I'm like, you're either going to hit one of these parked cars or whatever. And as we're having this debate, which is kind of odd because I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and nobody's looking at the road, we just kind of careen off of a cliff, right? So it's like every weird movie like this couldn't really be happening. And he catches it at the last minute and goes, oh no, turns the wheel to the right. I grab the oh shit handle because this has a very awesome oh shit handle, right? Not like the new ones where they're up front, which is more like an OF handle.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck, right? But the oh shit handle you grab. So I got the oh shit handle. I look, and I'm now looking at my side view window, which should be looking at trees and starry night, and all I see is grass. like maybe 1.5 inches out of the window. So now I'm trying to lean myself back away from everything because I'm like, no, I'm going to get road rash. Like, he's going to tear my arm off. So we're going down a hill sideways on the Armada. It all of a sudden catches, turns, and you'll like this because you're an ex-skater guy, right? You're an ex-skater, he jumps and out of nowhere hits a,
the guardrail.
It's a guardrail barrier where
Bro,
they
are
have
you about
the corrugated
to
steel.
board slide the guardrail.
A Nissan Armada. This thing has to weigh like 7,500 pounds, right? And he hits it and slides and goes, whoom. And as he's sliding, you know they've got the
50
little,
front slides.
you know how you've got the little wooden things that are holding the thing.
Yeah.
You can hear them breaking off, just kind of like when you're on the Gemini at Cedar Point. You're going up the, you're going up the thing, and it's click, 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 and then goes down. Well, you notice them like starting to slow down a little bit, and then one of them caught hold, and it was like the sonic boom, right? So it's a boom.
And then everything went white
Everything went white because there are airbags
everywhere.
dude. Like there's a
side
front sheen, a
curtains, like-
side curtain. Now, immediately, I can't see anything. My first reaction, right, because my fight or flight mechanism is better than everybody's on the planet, I go ahead and grab the door and push, and I'm getting ready to jump out, and then I forget that I got my little brother in the car and my old workout partner. So I look in the back seat. My old workout partner has one hand on the headrest and one hand on my little brother. And he was like, I got him, bro. And I was like, cool. So I jump out of the car. When I go to jump out of the car, I assume that I'm going to be on flat ground, right? I'm not on flat ground.
Nope.
I go, oh, there's nothing here. I had to grab the door, grab the bottom of the Armada, and kind of like cinch myself down and still drop like 2.5, 3 feet. So I'm like, oh my God, dude, it is sitting on the side of a hill, teetering. So we all get out of the vehicle, right? And we get away. Like, I don't know, is it going to blow? Like, we've all watched, random crazy,
Explosion movies.
yeah, you've seen like this will happen and fire and kaboom and whatever. So as I'm looking at whatever, I'm like, oh no, right, this is really happening. So let's get away from the vehicle. And as we get away from the vehicle, I look, Blazer is climbing back into the vehicle. All I see is like a half naked bare ass trying to climb in the vehicle. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? Get away from the car. And he's like, no, I left my keys or my phone charger or something. There's something in the car that he needs, which now I'm understanding that he was really, really intoxicated and just lied to us and drove us off a cliff. And we did a damn pole slide on, So as we're getting down, and I don't know if anybody's ever been in, in situations like, when the police are called or the cops are called or whatever, when stuff like this happens, you've only got plausible deniability if you're not at the scene, right? Because everything can be kind of like, well, I don't know what happened. Dude, that dude with the green hat, he took, well, who's this dude? I don't know. He said he was here from Oklahoma. Nobody likes people from Oklahoma, right? So then there you go. You flip it from green to the blue hat.
Bro, that dude with the green hat is insane. That dude,
And he
tiniest
went that
dick
way.
I've ever seen in my life. Just so small.
That's right.
That's why we crashed. He pulled it out.
That's right.
We were all shocked.
That's right. And you could amply show them right now that you're not that guy, right?
Exactly.
So
Well, that might get me in trouble.
So get this. So we're right on the side of a 2-lane highway that goes to the major highway and from where we live. And we're like, dude, get away from the car. Get away from the car. We got to go. And we're half scared that he's going to tip the car off the thing, what you see
Right.
in Mission Impossible movies, or you see So we're like, oh, what the hell are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And I was like, you know what? Dude, we got to walk away, because if we're here, we're going to have to say he was driving, because I'm not taking the hit for this. My little brother's not taking the hit for this. So we got to walk away. So my dipshit workout buddy goes, okay, well, there's the highway. Let's just walk down the highway. And I went, you haven't run away from many things in your life, have you? The car is visibly on the side of a hill, teetering. It could fall off at any moment. And we're the 4 dudes walking down the highway. And I was like, no. I happen to live here. There is railroad tracks that walk, or that almost
man.
drive right next to the
There's
highway.
a line of trees that blocks it completely from the street.
So you can't see
Perfect.
from the road. So I'm like, okay, we're going to have a stand by me moment, right? So I'm like, okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and, we're going to walk the railroad tracks. He won't come. So I have to call somebody at the house. Mind you, we only live like 2.5 miles away from this, or 3 miles. So I call my buddy at the house, and I was like, yo, Blazer will not get out of the vehicle. He just almost killed us. He jumped something, and we're on the side of a mountain, teetering on a guardrail. Maybe
right by JR Pockets.
right by
Go to
JR
Pockets,
Pockets.
you'll see it.
There was a huge Jesus sign and JR Pockets. I was like, dude, when you see the Jesus sign and JR Pockets, look to the left. You'll see the Armada stuck on a mountain. So we're walking down the railroad tracks. Now, I thought it was
Get
a
him,
good
Rachel.
What happened?
Got some drama going on.
So it's kind of random. So I'm like, yeah, here's what's going on. And I'm like, all all right, so we're walking down the railroad tracks. Well, half of the railroad tracks we don't know because we've never actually walked the railroad tracks. They're above ground, right? Because they go over creeks and valleys and whatever. So this thing is a suspended bridge with nothing in between. So you've got to literally, we've been drinking a bit and almost got, killed in a car accident. So now we've got to take those long steps and like you really have to make sure your footing is good.
Right.
So I call my buddy, to come get him, right? He drives up. He's now walking around in circles and cars are stopping like, oh my God, I saw that. Are you okay? My buddy walked up and just pushed somebody, was like, dude, he's fine. He's with me. Threw him in the car, took him home. So we're walking down these railroad tracks. So now I'm going, dude, what if a train comes? We're on a bridge, right? And we got like 2.5 miles to go. Like, okay, so just so everyone knows this was a good idea for the sanctity of not going, hey, we weren't in that vehicle. But there are coyotes that we know. We've seen coyotes every time somebody puts out, there's it's funny
And it
and
wasn't cold, so there's snakes.
yeah, right. So I'm like, no, this is happening, whatever. And I'm like, dude, there's snakes. We've got copperheads. We've got rattlesnakes, dude. It's Texas, bro. There's all kinds of craziness, and we're doing this to make sure he's okay, right? So this is like the story of my existence. Like, make sure we got to do whatever, and he really did something insane. So let's do this so we don't have to go. Yep, it was him, right? Because nobody wants that. Even afterwards, you're like, I totally get it, but it's still a dick move. We're walking down. We finally get there, and we make it. No trains come. We had to hurry and get off the bridge. So we walk. We're sweaty. It's Texas. We've been drinking. We wander through this field that is infested with all these animals and everything, right? We show up at the house. Cool. Walk in. He's sleeping like a baby on the couch. Just night-night. Now more people have come to the house and went, dude, I was driving by and saw the Armada on the side of a hill. Like, how did he get the car stuck there? So immediately I come in, I look at him, I get angry, right? And I go, how long have you been here? Dude, how long did it take you guys to walk, man? That seemed long. Dude, we've been here for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I hate all of you, right? So he's sleeping, and immediately I'm like, dude, shut the blinds, lock the doors. Do not answer the door for anyone that knocks on the door. Because I'm expecting either the police or a detective or somebody, right?
Right.
They're going to look and go, okay, here's this vehicle. What's the registration? Doesn't seem like, crack up police work to figure out where this dude may be from, right? So we go through this whole thing. Nobody comes and knocks on the door. Nobody comes and knocks on the door the next day. He wakes up and goes, oh, really? Don't remember much of this, but okay. Huh. Has anyone called me? Has anyone come to the door? So now we're on shutdown. This house is the most active house in life. And now we've got, like, we're putting blankets over the thing. Like, we're in...
That's not suspicious at all, no.
Dude, I didn't even... And this is a goddamn $300,000 house, right? In a super nice area. And we're just, and we're being as sketchy as life could be at this point. I don't even know why I'm freaked out. All I know is I just didn't want the cops to come to the house one more time. Like, they'd been there a lot. They had actually woken me up. The reason why I have that psychotic... the reason why I... I have that psychotic Belgian Malinois Shepherd is because one of the times police just happened to come upstairs and turn on the light, and I hear somebody like standing, like, why do I hear keys, like a janitor? And I look up and there's a police officer standing 3 feet away from me, and I'm laying in bed.
That's not disconcerting at all.
No, not at all. And I look over and I'm like, I look at my dog, and my dog's looking at me like, hey dude, there's a cop in there with a gun. And I went, no, that is not your job as a dog. Woof woof. Let me put my pants on, right? I mean, I'll wrestle with somebody with a gun as long as I got my britches on. So I'm like, wow, so this is the deal. I'm like, okay, that's why I have the dog. So this is why I'm freaked out. Why I don't want cops at the house, and they keep startling me in my sleep. He seemed to have them there every couple months. So we get this. Now, what had actually happened be with
I got away pretty good with everything because all that was damaged was little wood stumps, and so it has to be like over $5,000 to be like leaving the scene of a crime. It's not considered a crime at that point. And so because they couldn't tie it to me, there was an open beer in my fucking cup holder, and then I wrote "I'm drunk" on the back of the fucking windshield.
You were left unattended for a little while.
Yeah. So, so then they towed it to a local place, went there, and just filed an insurance thing. They didn't ask.
Well, didn't you have to call? Like, hey man, is there?
Yeah, I tried to find
chance?
where my fucking car was.
Nobody called. Nobody came to the house.
Dude, I wouldn't have called. I would have been like, dude, I don't.
Well, that's because I was thinking, I'm gonna have to do the stolen thing, or am I gonna do whatever? Then I was like, oh no, wait a minute, $1,000 deductible. They don't give a shit what the story is. It's just here. There it is. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, there it is back. I was hoping it was gonna get totaled out. I was like, come on, buddy, you can't die.
No, that vehicle's still alive and rolling up here.
It had like 180,000 miles on it when it hit the thing, and it still didn't total out.
And they wouldn't total it. That how expensive was that vehicle?
It was like $11,000 to fix, and that was still less than total.
Yeah, and it was still like worth like $20,000, and it was what, a $60,000 vehicle or something at the beginning, or 55 or something.
55 or something like
So
that.
yeah, dude. Note to self, and look, we normally don't like, hey, buy a Nissan Armada. You know, we don't have any affiliation with with any car dealerships. But hey, if you'd like to drive headfirst and jump off a cliff and smack into something, do an endo on a
We got through it's literally never failed for everything that we've had to use it for. It's always been sufficient. We got through, even though it's 2-wheel drive, we got through Snowmageddon in Texas.
Yep.
Snowmageddon in Texas.
No, dude, we literally we get home and we get ice storms in Texas, right?
Yeah.
We don't necessarily get
Ice and hail mostly.
Yeah, but dude, just imagine like 4 or 5 inches thick of ice, and they don't have anything to dissolve the ice.
Nope.
Sand. They throw sand on it. All you did is made a slippery sandbox, right? And then you've got these like giant holes of potholes of ice on top of road, and we have to pass 2 major lakes on the way home, right? Going from Dallas to Denton. And as we're going, I was like, dude, I've done this. I'm from Michigan. I got this, bro. Let me drive. So I'm driving back, and I'm
I was
hitting
drinking.
I'm hitting stuff, and I'm literally bouncing from one area to the next. We're driving. Well, guess what? A car like 3 cars behind us hit one of the crazy things and went whoop into the lake. We don't figure this out because all you see are headlights and shenanigans behind us.
Because people are driving, we're not used to it. So big
Right.
chunks of ice will fall off the hood or off the back of a truck, and then there's just a basketball-sized piece of ice
Right.
all over the highway because everyone did it. We don't know how to wipe our cars down.
Yeah,
you
it's
you
not
just
a
start
thing.
driving and shit falls off.
Bro, I do that here.
Did they?
But y'all have plows and shit here to clean it up. Like ours,
that is
on the 5th day of ice, like dude,
Dude,
there's nothing but like
I
boulders
don't know. I
of
got
ice
like
blocking
3
the road.
miles to get on the highway, and it is scary in those 3 miles. Like I don't know that Canton knows what a plow is.
Well, yeah. Well, and there's a whole thing with waiting until the end of the snow. If you shovel now, it's kind of like me
Bruh,
with raking the leaves.
It hasn't snowed in
Why are
like
you
3
gonna
days, and there's still like 3 feet of snow on the ground. I'm like, what?
Well, not on the regular roads.
Yeah,
I
like on Newburgh.
Okay, well, I don't know about Newburgh, but I drove here and I was on pavement. I don't know what world you live in.
I live in fantasy world.
Kind of
man.
ghetto can't you live in? And no, Faith, they did not make him blow. The cops never came. They never came. They never even filed a
Yeah,
police
because it
report.
wasn't enough damage. It was just the wood stumps, so it wasn't enough damage for it to be leaving the scene of a crime.
And yes,
because
the-
I'm not there with my keys, you can't place me at the scene of the crime. So
Yeah,
it's not worth
right.
trying to prosecute and lowering your conviction rate because you may fail. So they just kind of let it go.
And that's and insurance, yeah, insurance took care of it and whatever. But the fact that he had to call, like, I remember it was the 3rd day, and he was
Yeah,
like,
I was
okay,
just waiting, like.
so nobody's calling me. And what happens when, like, heaven forbid, we've had cars towed in this city before. And number 2, it's a college town. The amount of crap you can get away with in a college town because there's so much. You've got a naked streaker. You've got somebody who lit, their front porch on fire. There's 78 drunk kids fighting all over the university. So yes,
They give me an arrest in my own driveway.
Dude,
Like, that upset me so bad that night. Like I got a public intoxication at my own house. I was actually in my neighbor's garage.
Right.
And the cop pulled by, and this is like one of the nights I'm actually behaving inside. I was usually out causing terror in that town. And, it was kind of a, what are you guys doing? And, it was kind of a, it's none of your fucking business. So, told
There
me to
you
go fuck
go.
himself. And,
yep, that'll do it.
and there you go. Public intox in the driveway. Like,
I
three through. He had to blow on another night when he was really intoxicated, and he also fell off. I
But-
got a call. He was like, "Dude, I've been in urgent care all night. Sorry I didn't answer your phone." I was like, "What are you in urgent care?"
Oh, yeah,
I got
I
really
fell
drunk
off
and
the
fell off one of the dock bays and whatever, and I think I broke my arm and broke my hand, and so yeah, the things never. Oh, Faith got pulled over in her driveway. Yeah, you can get arrested in your own driveway.
but I wasn't driving. I
got-
was standing there drinking in my own thing. Like, hadn't been driving anywhere.
I think you also yelled, "I banged the neighbor. I can do what I want." And
Yeah,
whatever.
that's probably so, yeah.
And he lived in the neighborhood. He was our one cop who
Yeah.
lived in the neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
that's the one you definitely. Howdy, partner.
My
Well, I mean, just like, I'm drinking beer in my garage. What the fuck does it look like? Like, oh, no, I'm launching a rocket, dipshit. Like, you don't
I'm
got
launching
better
my
things to do with your
Tesla.
time? Yeah, like, I'm drinking beer in a garage, having a conversation. That didn't
No,
really
my,
involve you.
my driveway cop story
Yes, Blazer did get away. He gets away
is
all but once.
Yeah, they
go
got
ahead.
me one time.
we were underage. We were at
Hold on, real quick. It sounds like he likes to blow. Also,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
do,
random. That's a
but,
random lady. That's Alyssa throwing in the. Sounds like he likes to blow.
it does.
That is never.
I've only had to
He's
do the
right.
I didn't even get the breathalyzer. They took my blood.
Yeah, he refused.
man.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
you can't refuse the breathalyzer because you can beat the breathalyzer.
Yeah, he
and
got
that- and
arrested
that
with
is
his
part of
dog, and his
this- that
dog
is
almost had to
part
go
of
to
this
doggy
story.
jail.
So we're hanging out. we're all underage. We go to this guy's house who is 18 years old, and his parents went out of town, and he was a friend of a friend. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go there. You're sweet. So we're drinking, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, right?
Little drinking, a little smoking.
Little drinking, little smoking.
That was Don ready to get
My buddy's phone goes off, and he goes, oh, bro, it's Sylvester. I'm like, oh, dude, what's he doing? We answer the phone, and all you hear is, ah! 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 We're like, dude, Sil, what the hell is going on? We kind of pieced together that he was at a club in Ann Arbor, and somebody roofied a drink, and then he drank it, and now he's in public screaming and hanging off a light pole. And we're like, we got to go get this kid, like, right now. So I'm like, all right, Rob, you're with me. Let's go. And jump in my car. Go down. We get him. His car is parked in the street. So we're like, all right, Rob, get out, get in his car. His car is his dad's car. And it's a, like, $70,000 BMW. So Rob's like, I got it, we're good. We're following the speed limit the whole way home. We pass one cop. Doesn't pull out. I'm thinking we're good. We pull into this dude's driveway. Whoop whoop. Pulls us both over. So I'm like, shit. Comes up to the window and he goes, license and registration? And I go, well, I don't actually have my registration in this car because I just bought it the other day.
Sounds like sounds fishy to me.
My wallet was stolen today, so I don't have a license either. Huh.
You'd be in Guantanamo today if that happened to you.
So, what's your
do.
name? And so I give him my name, right? What's your name or date of birth? Give him, goes back, runs. All right, this guy does have a license. Comes back. So it got stolen, huh? I'm like, yeah, we were out playing basketball, yada, 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 boom, boom, boom. All right. Goes away, comes back. You live here? Well, no, it's actually a friend of a friend, and what's his name? Well, not actually sure. Huh. Where's his parents at? Well, they're out of town. So you guys having a little party? Well, yes, sir. You guys drinking a little bit? Well, I don't know. I don't drink, officer. Step out of the vehicle. Light up a smoke. Blow into this for me. I take a giant drag of my cigarette, blow half of it out, and then blow the rest into the breathalyzer. 0.00. Because the breathalyzer is breath, and all it got was smoke. So it didn't register any alcohol on smoke. So he's looking at it like,
why have I never heard of this wise tale of how to beat
There's
breathalyzer?
also a lot of calibration issues with them, and that's one of the reasons that attorneys will tell you don't do it, because even if you are sober, they can read .04. When you
Right.
ask them, if you ever ask them when's the last time it's calibrated, they'll tell you, oh, it was 4 or 5 blows ago. Okay, well, you don't want to do that. Like, so
Dude, you know how many girls I've known that when's the last time you were calibrated? About 3 or 4 blows ago. Hey.
yeah,
No, so-
I never had to do it.
I'm standing in this dude's driveway, and I can see them peeking through the blinds, right? And they're freaking out because there's now 3 cops here. And my buddy's out of the car, and he luckily actually hadn't been drinking that night because he had just got there. And he blew a 0, and they're like, So they go back and they conference a little bit, and I'm kind of standing there by the hood of my car with all my shit everywhere, and they're like, can I look around the car? Yeah, no, fine. I bought it 3 days ago, so there was nothing in it.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Except
"Ha-ha."
the dude you bought it from is a drug dealer,
up?
and there's 3
Well,
unmarked weapons.
I bought
and
it from the dealership, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, haha. So,
Yeah.
they search the car, and there's nothing in the car, and they finally go to my buddy, and they're like, so whose car is this? And my buddy's like, it's my friend's. What's your friend's name? Sylvester. Doesn't say Sylvester on the registration. It's a pretty nice car. Where'd you get the car? So finally, I'm like, look, officer, come here. I'm like, look, man. We're out here. We're having a little fun. He calls us. Somebody roofied his drink. We went and got the dude. Like, I know we were speeding. We were going like 3 miles an hour over. Like, you got to cut us a break, man. I'm like pleading with this guy. All right. Goes back in, comes out. Takes his flashlight, shines it in my face, and then shines it on the roof of the house. And goes, why are there chairs on the roof of this house? And I look up, and there are legitimate lawn chairs on the roof of this dude's house. And I look at the cop and say the first thing that comes to mind. I'm like, his parents are astronomers? They go up there and they look at the stars? That checks out. That sounds right.
That somehow was okay. They were
Somehow
cool.
that was the one that they were like, all right, fine. And they get in their car and they leave. We didn't even get tickets. No, I'm driving without a license or insurance. They didn't ticket us. They like left and we're both standing there like, are we?
I got arrested once
good?
for an inspection sticker.
I did get pulled over for the. I went to court on it too because I was like, yes, I didn't have the new tag on, but the tag was in a different city because the car's not registered in this house, so like the tag is coming and had to go to court and got off on it. But
Me and Jake got roofied once. Texas is an innovative state.
Yeah.
Do things differently. We got roofied by jerky.
Yeah, we got roofied by and again, this.
Yeah, innovators out there. The
you,
pill market's just so saturated.
do you often take jerky?
Okay, now here's the no. Look, you're in Texas. You're in a country. We were at the edge of a college
we're
town.
at Pockets, actually,
Yeah.
right across from where I wrecked the Armada. That
Edge of a college town and the beginning of country, but like high end, real like ritzy, but also had country, right, wide open field and whatever, right, north of Fort Worth. Dude, there's a guy in there, right, and he was an old vet, right, and he was kind of a creepy old dude, but he seemed harmless, right?
And the buddy looked like Joe Dirt.
Yeah, and he had some weird like Joe Dirte buddy with him, right?
Joe Dirte?
So we were trying to talk to a couple of these girls, right? And we knew a couple of the bartenders and the waitress, and there were a couple random chicks. So we're there. We live down the street. We're dudes, right? We're having drinks. We're trying to talk to the chicks. The ex-Marine guy and Joe Dirt are talking to these chicks, and they're handing out like beef jerky, like whatever. So somewhere one of our buddies who was with them, he was like, "What is this guy? The beef jerky candy man? Like, who is this Yahoo?" So he's like, "Oh yeah, smoke the whatever, and I got the jerky and whatever." So he's handing it out and doing this and this, and I went, "Okay, this is all happening." And next thing I know,
I think the girls actually gave it to us. They took like one bite and were like, "Oh, here, you guys want it?"
I think it was one of our buddies who was with us went, dude, who is this asshole, right? So he's being a jerk, like he feels that he's being cockblocked by an old man handing out beef jerky, right? So this is happening, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And we're like, no, he's fine. He's a good dude. What's up, buddy? So we're trying to save face because our boy is being kind of an idiot. And the girls are now like, dude, you can't be mean to this old dude, and he's handing out beef jerky, whatever, right? And this is a very country bar and whatever, right? So as we go through this, we're like, this is happening. And we're like, dude, everyone loves jerky.
And T was just at a date. Like, he was at a date with that chick, like that Megan chick or whatever, that waitress one that like stood him up. Mm-hmm. And so he had like 5 or 6 drinks. So he was supposed to go there and then like at the end of the night see how it goes. Maybe we meet at my house. And then like an hour and a half later, he was at the bar with us with no girl. And it was like, so he came in. So he was kind of like anger drinking.
And bitter.
And
so we're trying to save face and be nice to this old dude. So the old dude is now aware of the fact that our boy T is being a jerk and this guy's being an asshole and whatever. So this is happening, right? And I go, okay. So all this is happening. Cool. I look over and I go, you know what? Dude, that's good. Jerky, dude, I'll have some jerky. And he was like, yeah. And like either him or Joe Dirt gave us like special jerky out of a secondary thing and went, here's the jerky. We take the jerky. Needless to say, we don't remember anything else for the rest of the night. So, dude,
before we did Tristan, collapsed. He collapsed. Like he took a shot of like tequila or something because he was drinking like an idiot, and took a shot, and then like 5 minutes later, just like in the middle of the floor, just collapsed. Dead body just fell on the floor, and we were like, wow, that was weird. Like, lightweight, what an idiot, So we didn't know how much he was drinking whenever he was waiting for his date that stood him up, But he had said something like 6, 7, 8 drinks, and we were all in the teens, for our normal bar tab things. So I tried to pick him up and like get him back on his feet, and he just complete dead weight, just nothing. And then like Jake ended up having to carry him over his back, and I think he was like trying to talk shit, like, put me down, kick your ass, or then he's like, I'm gonna throw up on your butt. Like,
I had a few people ask me, they were like, dude, are you ex-military and whatever? And I didn't answer, right? And I was like,
well, we took him out to the car because it was like 19 degrees outside in Texas. It was really cold, so I was like, well, fuck it, leave him here. What an idiot, And then apparently that's a bad move because he'll freeze to death. So I had to drive him back.
That is a bad mood.
Yeah, so I had to drive him back, and then I went. One of our other guys was with him. He's like, "Fuck it, I'll go with you. If we die, we'll die together." I'm like, that's the spirit. And so we went, and then because everything is frozen over there because the sun will sometimes melt the roads, and then at night they all like get zamboni back over, and we watched him walk into the house, and he fell like 3 or 4 times on his way up into the house, and then we're like, all right, so we drove back, and then that's where it was all complete blackout, but we did hear from other people, like Jake punched me in the face.
You bit me.
That's true.
You bit me. I punched you in the face.
I got to go back to, you got a Joe Dirt looking guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That is red flag number 1.
You're in Texas, bro. There are plenty.
Who is handing out beef jerky. That is red flag number 800. Like what? Y'all thought this was some normal beef jerky? No, there is
But
no.
it was like a
there has
neighborhood
never-
bar. People
there has
that-
never in the history of the world been a dude that went to the bar and was like, "I got some beef jerky. You guys want some beef jerky?"
Says the guy who
Just beef
doesn't live in
jerky?
Texas.
Yeah, so that's literally.
What are
not
you?
uncommon.
Where's your worldview that gives you the right to say that you know what goes on in Texas?
Well,
Ba-dum-bum. So yes, you ain't seen what we've
Please
seen.
tell me more about Texas since you've never been there.
Yeah.
oh, I've spent a lot of time in Texas. Actually, my sister went to UT.
Okay. Not as much as us.
Not as much as you guys, but I have.
You
spent,
haven't been
I have
to-
spent a fair bit of time. I've
Yeah,
spent a lot of
You
summers.
spent time
up
in
there.
Austin.
I've spent time in Austin. I've spent time in San Antonio. I've been to Dallas. Been to Fort Worth.
Been to.
Been to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big
I've
place.
also been
It's
to.
a big place. You're right.
That's right. And if you ain't been off the beaten path and in country, look, I get it. In hindsight, taking beef jerky from a random dude who our buddy just
Terrible
was a
idea.
dick to and whatever. But dude, I've never heard in all the stories of weird bar roofing and shenanigans and whatever, has somebody roofied somebody via friggin' beef jerky.
And it was also day 4 of drinking because everything was shut down. That was the Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, when the whole city was.
We got like 18 inches of snow in literally one night, and that was really weird because there's no way to
Yeah.
clear it, so it just stayed.
It just sits there.
Yeah,
Everything
like,
shuts down.
They occasionally brought out big motor grader tractors to
Right.
clear out the highways, and
So Marlene, I'm gonna one up your story here because we went to an ill-advised.
Yeah, I know he eats everything, but getting beef jerky, a friend beef jerky exchange. This guy
Awful
ate a
idea.
live octopus.
Awful idea. Would never do it. But we went down to Jackson, and if you've ever been to Jackson, it is not the greatest area of Michigan. But we decided, hey, we met these
They've got a
girls.
great rub and tug there. I'm just gonna say, one of the first
Oh.
rub and tugs that was ever confirmed in Michigan is that weird purple spa or whatever. It was a good
Oh,
trick.
we got a rub and tug that night. But my buddy and I met this girl on.
I'll be back in 1 second.
We-
Marlene, just feel free and talk to Al.
There you go. We met this girl on. This is weird. I'm talking to the diner picture above Jake now. Hold on.
There you go. It's good practice.
So we met this girl on Xbox Live. My buddy did. Finds out she lives in Jackson, and she's like, "Well, my friends have a hotel for the night. Like, you want to come chill?" And he's like, "Bro, you want to go down to Jackson to a party?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Let's go." Well, he didn't mention that it was a random girl that he's never actually seen, and it's at a hotel. And I'm like, halfway down there before he says anything, I'm like, all right, fine. So we go, we have some fun, we do some shenanigans, maybe get a little rubby-tuggy, and we're on our way home, and we're probably still drunk. And I had picked up the fifth that I had brought, which was about 90% empty, and I'd stuck it in the inside pocket of my coat, like right in here.
Yeah.
And my wallet was also in that inside pocket, because why not? Well, I'm driving, I'm going like 78 on the highway, I get pulled over. Like, balls, whatever. Be nice to the cop, we're good. Unzip my coat, take out my wallet, get my ID, hand it to the cop, do my thing. Looking at it, looks at me, looks down at my ID, looks back at me and goes, is that a fifth of Fireball in your jacket? And I look down and it is just has tipped right out, and I'm like, yes. You're gonna need to step out of the car. Oh, okay. Step out. He goes, give me the fifth Fireball. I hand it to him. You guys been drinking this morning? No, we drank last night at a party. All right. Here's your fifth. I'm gonna need you to step around this vehicle. I'm gonna need you to pour that out. And that hurts when they tell you to pour out the
quick tip
alcohol.
real quick. No. Quick tip. I found this out whenever I was a sophomore in high school. I hadn't been driving very long, but I learned some good new loophole. If you get out of the car in front of their camera and you slam it and then pour some out on the ground, they can't prove that you were drunk before then. If you were drunk driving before, because there's no telling what. I did it with a handle. And because I just thought I was going to jail for a while, so I might as well,
There you go.
make sure it's sleep easy. And so I slugged it
That's a
back.
good
But that's
idea.
literally, they couldn't do it because from then on, there's no way to tell how much you drank in that, what was poured out.
That's a good
But,
idea.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily poured out. It's that I was doing the Chris Farley drink with it up here and just pouring all over myself. Like,
Right.
You smell like alcohol. Of course I do.
Yeah. I
just
just
but there's
poured
the
it on
proof
my
right there. You
face.
can't prove I was drinking before.
No, but he makes me pour it out, and then he's like, do I have permission to search your car? And I'm like, well, I can't really say no now. You already found the alcohol. Like, you have probable cause.
So
and it turned out to be a
kids doing
cool
a threesome.
cop.
Make sure every one of you leaves with a pint of liquor, so in
Yeah,
case
there you
your
go.
buzz gets pulled over there, you can drink a big swig of it and pour some of it out. and
There
they
may
can't
be
prove.
some little mini bar shots in my car right now.
Yeah, but they can count those and
Yeah.
start working. But they still won't use it for a lot of reasons. Because I asked if it was a smaller bottle, like what if it was this? Could they be like, well, that's what that should account for. You're over that, but apparently it's not accurate enough.
Interesting.
With body fat for that dude, they'll throw that
Right.
case out every time.
But then he also asked me, he's like, is there any more alcohol in the car? And I'm like, no. He opens my door, reaches right under my seat, and pulls out half a fifth of vodka. And my face just dropped because I had totally forgotten that was there. I thought I was being honest with the guy.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm trying to be honest with the cop because that's, newsflash. If you're honest with them, they generally don't try to screw with you. It's when you start being belligerent and you lie to them and they're like,
I've
Now-
had some that were dicks even when I was.
well, yeah,
nice.
there's some that are dicks and they're just going to be a dick and there's nothing you can do about it. But at least if you go to court, you can be like, look, I was honest with the guy. I didn't lie to him. He came at me wrong. This is not true. Whatever it is, right? At least you have plausible, hey, I tried to be the good guy here.
Does that shit work?
It does. It actually does.
White privilege motherfucker.
That's right. That's right. That is
No,
definitely.
I'll go off on a mini tangent. I did get pulled over, and there is the law that if the cop pulls up behind you and you signal that you are going to make a turn, like you have the right to turn your car and go to a place where you feel safe. Well, I'm on a busy road. He pulls up. I put on my blinker. I went to turn. I got stopped at the red light. He decides that's the best time for him to get out of his car and start being a dick to me, and tells me, I'm
You got a problem with authority, don't you,
I'm
sir?
speeding, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going with the flow of traffic. It's if I was going the speed limit, it would be impeding traffic, which is against the law. So I was going with the flow of traffic. No, you weren't. He wrote me a ticket for speeding, failure to yield to an emergency vehicle, and passing on the right. And I took it to court. And when we went to court with it, I was like, look, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. And I was nice to the guy, and we pulled the tapes, and I'm like, look, I'm not passing anybody. The only person that I passed on the right was making a left-hand turn that hit their brakes, and the judge was like, you were honest, you didn't lie to the guy, you were respectful, he stepped out of line, I'm going to dismiss this case.
Well, I think what we can take from this, from Al, how about
privilege?
you slow down, right? Quit drinking and driving, or just keistering bottles of liquor underneath your seat, and maybe you don't have to worry about it.
19.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Put them in water bottles.
What do you? Yeah.
He,
What do
he
you?
let us go for that too. He made us dump the vodka out, and then he just let us go because
Of course.
we were honest.
Seems
with
like
the guy.
everyone I know gets away with all kinds of stuff. Not me. I
That's
drive.
because you're not honest with the
I
guy,
drive-
and you're not nice.
I don't try and get in trouble. I am the epitome of nice. How
Ooh,
dare you?
I like that, Marlene. We need to. You come up with an Al's angry side name,
Oh, dude, he's got
dude. I have a temper.
Yeah, shit don't work for you, does it, Rick? You and me. It's just if you look like me and Rick, we automatically. That's why we just avoid the trouble. But hey, it is getting late. I've got dogs to go home and feed and water. I do want to thank everyone who popped out. It seems like we may have made Justina mad, but Faith, it's cool to have you in there. I know you said you wanted to throw some topics our way, and that makes the whole listening experience a heck of a lot more fun. When you go ahead, you throw something in, we'll do 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes it may even be a whole hour if the topic is juicy enough. And tonight we did get a little, we had to go through a little bit of, debate and, intellectual talk there somewhere in the middle. Normally it's dick and fart joke humor, threesomes. We talk about just about everything. And Rick, very good to see you, buddy. Even though you're a little weird medallion, on the thing, and weird, or not weird, but words flying out after. And yes, we'll have to try and get down to Houston the next time I possibly can. This is the Bachelor Pad, Jake,
Al.
Blazer.
and we're done for the evening. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Ball me, Blazer. Been waiting all night to say that. God damn.